Hi there, welcome to this how-to about spam rating. In this video, you can learn how Mosparo identifies spam. Mosparo uses rules to rate every submission. If the rating reaches a specific level, the submission will be considered spam. Before a form is submitted, the data from the form fields need to be validated by Mosparo. To validate the form data, the user has to check the Mosparo checkbox. If the invisible mode is active, the form is automatically validated when the user submits it. When validating the form data, Mosparo loads all rules and rule packages and searches for matching rule items in the form data. When a rule item matches the data from the form, Mosparo will add the number of points to the submission. The number of points is based on the configured rating for the rule item, or one if no rating value is set. After processing all the rules, Mosparo knows the number of points a submission gets. Now, Mosparo makes a very simple comparison. When the number of points for a submission is greater than or equal the configured spam score, the submission is rated as spam. Otherwise, the submission is not spam. The required spam score to identify a submission as spam is configurable per project in Mosparo. To configure the spam score for a project, select the project and open the advanced settings. Configure the spam score as a number from 0.0 upwards. As explained earlier, Mosparo uses rules, items, and points to check if a submission is spam. When you add an item to a rule, you can specify the rating for this item. The rating generally indicates how strong the item is. A clear spam item should have a high rating, while an item that may or may not be spam should have a lower rating. If you leave the rating field empty for an item, Mosparo will use the default rating of 1 point. You can also use a negative rating value. This can be useful if you want to allow one item specifically. A negative rating subtracts points from the submission's total number of points and helps avoid identifying the submission as spam. To adjust all rating values of a rule or rule package, you can adjust the spam rating factor. The spam rating factor specifies a factor by which every item rating of a rule or rule package should be multiplied to increase or decrease its weight. The default spam rating factor is 1.0. If you set a higher value than that, the rule or rule package ratings are increased. For example, an item has a rating of 5.0, and the rule has a spam rating factor of 2. The item's rating will be 5 multiplied by 2, which equals 10, so the submission receives 10 points. Specifying a spam rating factor below 1.0 will decrease an item's rating. For example, an item has a rating of 5.0, and the rule has a spam rating factor of 0.5. The item's rating will be 5 multiplied by 0.5, which equals 2.5, so the submission receives 2.5 points. The spam rating factor is especially useful for rule packages, where the rules and items are defined by someone else, and you want to decrease or increase the package's weight. Summary: Mosparo uses rules to find unwanted data. If the rating of a submission is above the spam score, the submission is considered spam. A rule item's rating can be a positive number for spam and a negative number for non-spam content. With the spam rating factor, it's possible to increase or decrease the effectiveness of a rule or rule package. Learn more about Mosparo with these videos.